Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am here to talk about my fall garden, the things that I'm going to be planting in said fall garden and when I'm going to be getting those started or direct sown. So before I start listing off all the different varieties and dates and things, I created my planting calendar according to the Dallas Garden School website. She gives a range of dates. So I picked my dates based on if I was going to succession sow something or if it had, I also looked at the days to harvest on each of the varieties. So if it was like a longer days to harvest time, then I would set it earlier in the date range that she provided. Otherwise, I just kind of went with like right in the middle of that range. I may add some zucchini varieties into some of these raised beds. We'll see. I actually do have some zucchini setting fruit out there, so if I can keep them alive, I may not have to worry about it. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started with what I'm definitely going to be planting. So the way that I'm going to detail this video is first I'm going to stop squatting. And okay, so the way that I'm going to be doing this video is I'm going to talk about the varieties first, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to give you guys my planting schedule second. And the reason that I'm doing that is because some of this stuff is being succession sown, and I wanted to go ahead and list out everything. That way, if you guys are growing a fall garden too, maybe we're growing the same stuff and we can talk about our successes and failures together. And sometimes people are just genuinely curious. I like knowing what other people are growing. That's how I learn about cool, new, interesting varieties, especially in the case of some of these hybrids I received from a fellow viewer last year. That worked out really well for me, so I ordered my own. So that's kind of the reason for detailing the varieties. The reason for the dates is in case you guys haven't planned your garden out yet and you wanted to get something, you know, set in stone, something written down, something like that, then you kind of have like a reference point for dates. So, varieties. Okay, so I have one trellis in my garden currently. So on that trellis, I'm going to be planting some pumpkins and some snacks slash snow peas. The snow peas don't take up much room, and then the pumpkins will fizzle out as soon as the first frost comes. So the pumpkin varieties are going to be smaller pumpkins. We have Black Bear, which is 1 pound to 1.5 pounds on average. Whenever it is harvested, it is an almost black pumpkin. We have Spark, which is a true miniature pumpkin. It is 1/2 pound on average at harvest, and it is like a gold and orange kind of variegated color. And then I'm planting Mandarin, which is a very small miniature pumpkin that is a traditional orange in color. Now, as far as I'm aware, Mandarin is edible. Spark is not. That one will be decorative only, and then Black Bear is edible and also decorative. So the idea for those is if they're edible, I will make my husband some pumpkin pie and some pumpkin bread and some pumpkin pancakes. Otherwise, they will go out to the front to become decor for Halloween and such, because that is our favorite holiday. On to the stuff that will grow into and through the winter time. You kind of start it in the fall, and then you're eating whenever it's cold. So first we have a few different types of broccoli. So we have Aspa brock, which is like a sprouting type broccoli. Really great flavor, excellent for stir fries and stuff. Green Magic, which is just a hybrid green variety. And then we have Purple Magic. Purple Magic is a purple variety that retains its color when it is cooked. However, it has a much longer days to maturity time than the Green Magic. And then we have Yad Fa broccoli, which is also a kind of sprouting, Chinese broccoli type, excellent for use in stir fry. We eat a lot of stir fry here, which is why I'm really excited to get some of these broccoli types that are great for that purpose. And then we have early purple sprouting. So this one is planted in the fall, and then you will harvest the florets in the spring, and it is the same kind of stir fry, you know, long stem style. On to Brussels sprouts. So far in the 5 years that I've been gardening, I've not been able to successfully grow Brussels sprouts. It's pretty warm here, and Brussels sprouts have a really long days to harvest. By the time they actually start forming, it is time for me to rip them out and put tomatoes in. So I found a couple of hybrid varieties with a shorter days to harvest window. So I have a green variety called Jade Cross and a red variety called Red Bull. Even though the fall garden, the crops are much simpler, most of them are brassicas, I am trying to still make sure that they're bright and colorful and fun. That way whenever it's 30, 40 degrees out, I still want to come out here and see how those bright, colorful, beautiful things are doing. So then we have some cauliflower. We have two types. We have Twister Hybrid, which is a traditional white variety, but it has self-wrapping leaves on it that help keep that white variety nice and crisp white and doesn't get wrecked by the sun. And then a purple variety called De Purple. So I'm really excited about that. Supposedly, it's cicada season. That's not supposedly, that's for real. But supposedly, the De Purple cauliflower will keep its color when... I hear ya. Tell me how it's going. But the purple color will stay whenever the cauliflower is cooked. So I'm really excited to see if that is the result. Next, we have a few different varieties of cabbage. So one of the things that I am hoping to do with cabbage this year is ferment some kimchi and some sauerkraut. I really am trying to ferment more foods to get some probiotics in our system. It's a great way to preserve food if canning makes you a little bit nervous. So I have a Chinese cabbage that is the Hilton variety that will be for the kimchi, and then Red Jewel and Stonehead are both hybrid varieties with pretty relatively short days to maturity windows. I really apologize for the noisy cicada there. And then the last variety, I actually don't know how to say, so I'm gonna put the name up here. And it is a, it's a noisy variety. No, it is a green and purple variety together. So that one will be really interesting and add quite a lot of fun to the garden. That one will probably be more for fresh eating since it is so striking. But then we have collard greens. I grow collard greens every year. Yes, I hear you. And they're one of my favorite winter things to be able to eat and cook and have a lot of. So I have two varieties I'm going to plant this year, and that's Alabama Blue and Variegated. And then I'm also going to be planting 3 varieties of spinach this year: Bloomsdale, Giant Winter, and Matador. So with the collard greens and the spinach, those you can treat as cut and come again, so you can come harvest the leaves that you want, wait for more to grow, and then come back and harvest again and again and again until the end of the growing season, or the plant gets sick or you just get tired of eating it. It's all up to you. The next thing that we have, or that I'm going to be planting, is going to be lettuce. That's going to go into my black leaf green stalk, the one with the shallow pockets. It has 7 tiers, so I'm growing 7 different types of lettuce so I can have kind of a cool, well, it's red and green, basically red and green lettuce thing happening over here. So we have Dino lettuce, which is a romaine type, Tegan, which is green and red, Gustav's salad, which is kind of like a butter lettuce type, Little Jim, which is tiny romaine, Merlot, which is a red type, New Red Fire, which is a green and red type, and then Tum Thum, which is a smaller butter type as well. Back to the trellis. Remember earlier I mentioned snap and snow peas, so I'm going to plant 3 varieties out there. They're going to be Beauregard, which is a purple potted variety that does retain its color when it is cooked. Oregon Sugar Pod 2 and Sugar Magnolia. Sugar Magnolia is also purple. It keeps its color whenever it is cooked as well. So we will have some purple stir-fried snap peas and snow peas this year, so that will be really fun. And then carrots. I'm planting several varieties of carrots. I have grown carrots successfully in the past. I was not successful last year. I think I just started them way too early and it was too hot, and anyway, so I'm waiting a little while longer this year before I get them put into the garden. But the first variety that I'm going to be planting is Lila Lu Sang, which is a purple and yellow variety. Then New Carota, which is an improved variety on the Shin Carota. And then Purple Dragon, which is a purple carrot, of course, purple and orange. Shin Carota, which is kind of a short stubby carrot, perfect for growing in Texas because its days to harvest window is relatively short, so you can succession sow it multiple times throughout the season. Then we have Deep Purple, which is a very, very dark purple that is perfect for juicing. Ruby Pack, which is a red carrot, and then Gold Nugget, which is a gold carrot. So then I'm also going to be planting another round of cucumbers. The round that I planted in the spring didn't do anything, so I'm going to try them in the fall. I keep promising Logan I'm going to make him pickles, and I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to be planting Hostinator again, and then I'm going to be planting Chicago Pickling or Boston. I'm not sure which of the 2 varieties I have, but it's one of those. So they're going to go in this front raised bed here in the tomato patch, and I'm just going to let them vine through and wreak havoc and cause a big mess, and hopefully we get some cucumbers out of there. Then I have some kale. So kale I'm also going to be treating as a cut and come again. Leafy green, come out, harvest what I need, let the plant continue to grow, come out and harvest some more, etc., so on and so forth until the end of the growing season. Kale is pretty hardy. It doesn't require a whole lot of, cold temperature protection. So it's definitely something that I love to have in my garden through the fall and winter because it's so low maintenance, so easy to grow. I just put it in there and basically forget about it. So Blues Curled Scotch, Rainbow Lacinato, and Frisé Rouge. So the idea behind that is to get different textures of kale as well as different colors. So if I'm making something like a salad in the middle of December or January when I don't have any more of the lettuce from the green stalk, then I have beautiful kale leaves, and then of course the baby spinach and stuff. So that's the idea, that's the plan. We'll see if it's successful. So then I have a couple of other root crops. So we have rutabagas. I grow rutabagas every year, also relatively easy to grow. Navone Yellow and American Purple Top. Those are excellent roasted. Another YouTuber that I watch also mashes them and adds like sour cream and chives. I have not done that because my family isn't big on sour cream, but I imagine you could treat them similar to mashed potatoes and it would be just fine. Turnips, we're going to be planting purple white top globe. So that's the typical type that you see in the grocery store, in the produce section whenever you're not looking for turnips, but they're there. And then we have white egg, which is going to be a solid white variety of turnips. So these I like to roast like potatoes and eat them in place of potatoes. I love potatoes, but sometimes I don't need as many carbs as the potatoes give me, so the turnips kind of help provide a low carb option. Then we have 4 types of beets that I'm going to be planting this year. So we have Badger Flame, which is from Row 7 Seeds. Supposedly it has the flavor of the beets without the dirt part of the flavor, so we'll see. And then I'm going to be planting Boldor, which is another gold beet. Bull's Blood, and then Kyogia, pretty sure I said that wrong, but that's the like candy cane striped one that's red and white whenever you cut into it. Later in the fall, I'm going to be starting some onion seeds. So 1015Y, Texas Super Sweet, and Texas Early White. I still need to find a red variety. So if you're in my area of Texas and you know of a great red onion seed that I can get, please let me know what it is, so that I can get those started with the other onions. Radishes. So I have a lot of different radishes that I'm going to be starting, a lot of different colors. Some are for very specific reasons. Some are for fermenting, pickling, and roasting. So first off, let's go through this list. Cherry Belle, Crimson Giant, Easter Egg Blend, French Breakfast. All of those are going to be within the pickling, fermenting, roasting realm. Then Japanese Minuwace daikon. I'll put the word up here. I know I said that wrong. Daikon radish. So this one I am hoping to use in like homemade ramen, any sort of like Asian style soups, Thai curries, stuff like that. This would make an excellent like crunchy element for that. And then I'm going to be also growing the Japanese wasabi radish. So this is green. It is quite sharp in flavor, similar to wasabi. It might give you that kind of sinus burn, brain freeze thing that wasabi does. So again, that will be used in like teriyaki, stir fry, ramen, whatever other stuff I can think of to throw it in to kind of help clear things out whenever we're feeling congested and stuff. And then some more that will be used for fermenting, roasting, and pickling include Masato Rose, Purple Plum, and Lady Slipper. Watermelon will be used for fresh eating in salads and such. And then last, of course, I'm going to be growing garlic. Again, I am not decided on the varieties yet. I need to probably start my shopping soon. I did a little bit of research on varieties that grow really well here, and I wrote them all down, but I haven't narrowed it down to a manageable list just yet. So that's all 7,243 varieties of plants that I'm going to be planting in 5 raised beds in a green stalk. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see if I can fit it all in. And I do have some like fabric grow bag spaces that I can plant things in as well. So I'll make it fit. So now we can talk about the planting dates. So this is a very concise list. I didn't write each variety for each date. I just wrote the crop type, again, because some things are being succession sown. It was just a more simplified list. So starting on July 15th, I'm going to get those small pumpkins planted out on the trellis. It's going to be really interesting because the melons are still growing and the camo squash is now like climbing up the trellis, and the noodle beans are growing along the trellis. So if everything is successful, then the trellis will be very, very full, but it should look pretty awesome. August 5th, I'm going to be seed starting broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. That will be the first round of those 3 things. August 15th, I'm going to be seed starting broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, collard greens, kale, and spinach. Now, collard greens, kale, and spinach, and Brussels sprouts, I am not succession sowing. This will be the only round of those that I start. August the 25th, I will be direct sowing early purple sprouting broccoli. That's the only round of that because it does have to last it doesn't produce anything until the following spring. And then also direct sowing radishes, rutabaga, and turnips. I will be starting the last round of broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. So 3 rounds of the broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower will be started in the month of August. In September, I will be direct sowing beets, carrots, cucumber, and snow peas. I will be starting the seeds for the lettuce that will be transplanted fly into the green stalk. And then, oh, my eye is twitching. All right, September 5th, I will be direct sowing rutabagas and turnips. And then there's a lot of things happening in September, so I apologize. September 8th, direct sowing another round of radishes, September 8th, a round of radishes will be direct sown. September 15th, beets, carrots, rutabagas, and turnips will be direct sown. September 22nd, the third round of radishes. And then September 29th, beets and carrots will be direct sown. That will be the last round of both of those. And then October 1st is when onions are listed. October 6th will be the last round of radishes direct sown. And sorry, let me back up to those onions on October 1st for a second. I will be starting the seeds for those. I will be starting those indoors, so I'll have to move my shelf back inside and install the grow lights because I will need to keep them alive over the winter until January, whenever I can get them planted out into the raised beds. And then October the 15th ish until Halloween, probably closer to Halloween, the garlic is going to go into its home, which will be the fabric grow bag quads. So I have 3 in front of the greenhouse and 1 under the trellis. I'll be putting garlic in all 4 of them this year. Decided to grow a little bit more garlic this year than last year. So yes, that is the crop list and the planting dates. I will try to remember to put these dates down in the description below so that if you kind of wanted to follow the same schedule, you would have it to kind of refer to. Otherwise, if I forget, please write them down. Otherwise, that's all I have for you guys for this video. If you liked today's video and you want to see how all of this stuff progresses through the fall and winter gardening season, please like, subscribe, and comment. Otherwise, until next time, go find a way to get those garden manicures.